Hi folks. I thought I would talk about pacifism, or universal love even. The view that we should never harm any person, possibly even any creature. But let's stick to human beings for now. I don't believe in pacifism. I don't believe in it at all. I used to. And when I first started to understand non-duality, the idea that everything is one, I saw it as a kind of answer. I saw it as a kind of it allowed me to understand what love was. Love was the unity behind the separateness. You know, to be able to look at another person and see yourself, because you understand that you're not just your ego, you are the infinite, focused into this tiny little focal point of limited awareness in a human brain and body, and so is someone else. So you are that vast being that is the whole universe, looking at itself from multiple angles. So when you love another person, you are really loving yourself. So if you recognize that everything is you and everyone is you, surely then you should love everyone and everything. It makes sense until you really think about the predicament that everyone is in. And I think the best way to kind of wrap your head around this is to think about nature documentaries. I tend to watch a lot of nature documentaries by David Attenborough. And if you've never watched this stuff, stuff like Frozen Planet, The Blue Planet, Life, First Life, he's been on the go, this guy, for decades, and he's got a whole library of documentaries made by the BBC. They're fantastic. But the one thing that you get from watching nature documentaries is that you realize that everything is killing everything. The predator and the prey is just throughout the animal kingdom, and there seems to be no escaping it. So it's a little, right there, that's telling you something. It's a little strange for a human being to say, well, I'm not going to be a predator. You know what I'm saying? Everything is engaged in this. And even plant life is part of this whole equation. There was a time in our evolutionary history where the division between animal and plant hadn't quite been made. So, in a sense, we are related to plants, even though our evolutionary path is very divergent. But there are actually plants that are predators of animals. Think of the Venus flytrap. You know, it kills flies. Birds, who look so beautiful and so cute, they're destroying life all the time, picking worms out of the ground. And even if you want to say, well, you know, some animals are herbivores, maybe the human being should be a herbivore too. Maybe that's the moral ideal. But it doesn't work, because, you know, can you really look at a lion and say, oh, lion, you're so bad for tearing up that gazelle. You're so evil. It doesn't make any sense. And when you look at the whole world of germs and microbes, things are at war at that microscopic level. You have an immune system that you need to take out invading organisms. So the predator and the prey, in a sense, even exists at the microscopic level. And it also exists at the macroscopic level. When you think about pictures of galaxies and those colossal forces that span the whole width of galaxies, and you think of asteroids flying around and colliding with planets, I mean, for all we know, a big asteroid has Earth in its sights at some point in the future. It seems to have happened in the past. It may well happen again. And it does not care one bit about human life. I'm not saying it's conscious. I'm just saying that it's hostile. It happens. It will destroy life. And again, even think of the weather on the Earth. Sometimes it's nice, and sometimes there's a tornado or a tsunami. So at every level of existence, there is this this battle going on, I suppose is the best way to say it. And it seems to be intrinsically a part of existence that you can't get away from. So it makes no sense to be a pacifist. It makes no sense to see it as a moral ideal. And, you know, there are situations where you just can't be a pacifist. What if you, let me give you, an example. What if you saw someone walking over to a child with a knife in his hand, and he was going to cut that child or kill that child, but you had a gun and you could shoot this person? Now, let's not get into a whole argument about whether you shoot him in the head or you just try to wound him by shooting him in the leg or the ass or something. Bottom line is, you're in a position where you have to be aggressive, where you can't be a pacifist or a child will die. You see what I mean? Pacifism does not work. It's totally against your nature. So there has to be this two sides to the equation where we understand that yes, non-dualism helps us to understand what love is. But when you do exist as a creature, you simply cannot live in a way that allows you to see everyone as yourself and everyone as sacred and all life is sacred. You just can't do that, or you become the prey. So, funnily enough, I really started to understand things like that when I started to pit guys like Eckhart Tolle against guys like Anton LaVey with his Satanic Bible, and even more so, I would say, Jason King with postmodern Satanism. If you've never checked out Jason King, I really recommend it. He's a YouTuber, Jason666 King. He wrote a book called Postmodern Satanism, which I have read about 4 times, and it had quite a profound effect on me. He gets the whole non-dualism thing, but he also knows how to integrate it with a realistic view of existence as a creature. Well worth checking that out. So, you gotta put yourself in front of unusual avenues of learning before you can really get to the heart of things. So that's what I do. I've read everything from Christianity to atheism to Satanism and more besides. So allow these things to shape your worldview. And it doesn't have to be like my worldview. In fact, it shouldn't be like my worldview. I'm going to say things and they're going to be wrong, and I need people to have read different things than me so that they can come on here and correct me. But just don't come here and say, well, Darrell, if you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to go to hell, so you better believe in Jesus before it's too late.